So Donald Trump canceled and defunded federal diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, calling them scams. But let's break this down because the loudest voices against DEI aren't telling the full story. So let's talk about it. So check this out. The truth is DEI does not just benefit Black people. The same people pushing this anti-DEI rhetoric are attacking policies that benefit white women, veterans, and disabled professionals. Also working class individuals from all backgrounds. Yet they frame DEI as some unfair advantage for minorities, when in reality, it's the reason many of them have opportunities too. And I've been thinking about it for the last couple of days, and I wanted to bring this conversation into the tech industry because I've seen how this plays out firsthand. I've built my career on merit. No handouts. From managing hundreds of databases and securing mission-critical enterprise storage solutions to earning multiple CompTIA certifications, multiple degrees, and also supporting government and military operations. I've proven my expertise in Linux, automation, and database administration. But even in tech, an industry that prides itself on being meritocratic, biases still exist. And ironically, the same people who claim to hate DEI have benefited from it in ways they don't even realize. Now, one of the biggest misconceptions is that DEI is about handing jobs to Black people. That's a lie. If we actually look at the numbers, the biggest beneficiaries of DEI policies have been white women, not Black professionals. The gender gap in STEM, cyber and software engineering, is still massive. DEI initiatives have created pathways for women to move into leadership roles in tech. Without these policies, though, women, especially white women, would still be locked out of many industries that were historically dominated by men. Now, another group I want to talk about is veterans. I served 14 years in the Army. I deployed twice overseas and worked my way into tech after transitioning out of the military. And do you know how many veterans rely on DEI hiring initiatives to get their first civilian job? I always hear white men are being attacked. A lot of white men are in the military. And many tech companies prioritize veterans through diversity hiring efforts, recognizing the unique skill and discipline they bring. But with DEI under attack, these same veterans will find it harder to transition into tech careers. Now, to be disabled by today's standards spans from being wheelchair bound due to an accident to having dyslexia or being on the autism spectrum, all the way from full cognitive and physical impairments. And companies that focus on DEI create accommodations and equal opportunities for disabled employees who, without these programs, will be left behind. And lastly, I wanted to talk about first generational college graduates and regular working professionals. Not everyone has a network of executives and investors to vouch for them. And DEI programs level that playing field by ensuring that opportunities are available based on skill and potential, not just connections. So if DEI is supposedly bad, then explain why the same white men attacking it don't seem to mind when their wives, daughters, fellow veterans, or disabled colleagues benefit from these programs. It's crazy. One thing I've learned while working in the tech field, who plays a massive role in tech, just like every other industry. Before DEI, Black professionals automatically knew that they had to be twice as good, twice as educated, and twice as experienced as their white counterparts to even be considered for the same opportunities. Tech claims to be about skills, but let's be honest, who you know still plays a massive role. I've seen less qualified candidates get jobs simply because they had the right connections. I've also seen hiring managers overlook highly skilled engineers from diverse backgrounds because they didn't fit the quote unquote culture. And I've seen how many talented people never even get the chance to interview because they weren't in the right circles or they had somewhat of a different name on their resume. Now, DEI exists to remove barriers that keep qualified people of all backgrounds out of opportunities they deserve. If the system was truly about merit, then why do we still have a lack of women in leadership, a shortage of Black engineers in cybersecurity, veterans struggling to transition into civilian careers despite having top-level skills? Also, first-generation college grads getting passed over for people with family connections. I mean, look at the numbers. I pointed them out on my channel multiple times. If you look at the STEM numbers, Black people are at 6% of people in STEM, and that's across all the different areas of STEM. So science, technology, engineering, and math. We are like 7%. And I'm sure you could probably guess who's at the top of that as far as percentages. DEI doesn't lower standards. It forces companies to stop ignoring qualified candidates just because they don't fit in outdated mold. In my opinion, it seems that we're heading back to the time of purging, where anyone who isn't white male will be unqualified to even breathe American air. It's crazy. For decades, unqualified people were handed opportunities simply because of their race, gender, and background. And no one called that unfair. I know you guys have heard of the good old boys system. I remember that from when I lived in Louisiana. But now that companies are making space for skilled professionals from different backgrounds, the ones who benefited from the old school favoritism suddenly want to claim reverse discrimination or reverse racism. It's funny to hear that over at the Lung Duke show. Shout out to you, Brian. I've been watching your content for years, but I just don't agree with you on this topic. And it's super funny how you want to lock out your own women from leadership roles. And then also veterans, all these veterans from Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom, which I served with, are going to have fewer opportunities outside of the military. And people with disabilities, which I also have a disability. I talked about this on my channel in the past as well. I'm a disabled veteran. It's like they want things back to the way they were, where being white and male was a qualification by itself. That's the world they're trying to rebuild, especially when you hear people say, make America great again. It's crazy, man. Now, tech thrives on innovation, and innovation comes from diverse perspectives, in my opinion. And the biggest tech breakthroughs come from different minds working together, and not from an industry dominated by one demographic. Look at what's going on between OpenAI and DeepSeek. That fight is pushing innovation, don't you think? And also, the companies that continue to embrace DEI will build the most resilient, forward-thinking, and profitable businesses. And from what I see, those who reject it will fall behind. So the next time someone tells you DEI is bad, ask them, do you believe white women should be pushed out of STEM? Or do you believe veterans should struggle to find jobs in tech? Or maybe you believe disabled professionals should be excluded from hiring? Or what about first-generation college grads? Should they be ignored in the hiring process? Because that's exactly what happens when DEI is dismantled. And I know there's nothing I can do about it. Whatever policies have been pushed through the Trump administration, it is what it is. They're trying to dismantle everything when it comes to that, which some of it, I can't lie, is a little overboard when it comes to it. But there still is a need for DEI initiatives, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, I didn't need DEI to succeed. I put in work. I earned my certificates. That's what I want you guys to take away from this, because it seems like you see me as a Black guy, you automatically assume that somebody just pulled me off the street and said, hey, guy, you look like you could bring some swag into the tech community. Come on, guy, come on down. No skills required. But I also know that without policies that push for inclusion, many talented people will never get the chance to prove themselves. And so the fight against DEI is not about fairness, it's about protecting privilege. And if we don't push back, we'll find ourselves in an industry that looks like the past and not the future. Now, if you found this video insightful, please like, share, and subscribe to the KeepItTechie channel. Let's keep the conversation going. And please don't go into the comment section with any negativity. Just add to the conversation if you can, or give me your perspective or your opinion. I really don't like arguing with people in the comments, especially when you're being disrespectful. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a productive day. And of course, keep it techie. Yo, what's up, y'all? Listen, if you've been sitting there thinking about making a move, let me tell you, tech is where it's at. I don't care where you're coming from, whether you've got a degree, a GED, or just pure hustle. There's room for you in this game. You see, tech is more than just keyboards and code. It's solving problems, creating opportunities, and building the future. You already have what it takes, because tech doesn't care where you start. It cares where you're willing to go. You could teach yourself Linux, learn Python, break into cybersecurity, or even launch your own app. And the resources are out here for free. And yes, you heard me, free. Now, yeah, it's gonna take effort. You'll have to grind, but think about this. The time is gonna pass anyway. So why not invest it in a skill that'll change your life? I mean, tech doesn't just pay the bills, it opens doors to freedom, stability, and generational wealth. So stop doubting yourself, start small, stay consistent, and keep building. Because this isn't just a career, it's a movement. And guess what? You belong here. So let's get it, because the future is yours to build. Keep it techie.